chicks, trying to find some big fun, looking for some trouble to any motherfucker to give me some. I was young and crazy, and didn't know what my life could be. I was dumb and oh so lazy. Something had a spell on me. Listen, you all know what I'm talking about? Yeah, tonight, yeah, yeah, yeah. You all know what I'm singing about? Yeah, tonight, yeah, yeah, yeah. When I was a young man, kind of free and fancy, met this little cute girl. Said her name was Nancy. Pigtails to her shoulder, couldn't have been much older. Taught me what I had to know to make a girl not wanna go. Kinky, laid the pigtails down on me, and I was done it oh so sneaky. Had to see what love could be. Knew it all along, my game was strong, but I was wrong that time. I knew I had to play, get myself away. Did you think I was man enough? Did you think I was strong enough? Did you think I was big enough? Did you think that I wanted? Hey y'all! Somebody scream! Yeah! Say ooh, 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 ooh. When I was a young boy, tenements from the corner bar, playing tag with Wino. Only way to have some fun. One thing about the ghetto, you don't have to worry. It'll be there tomorrow. Brother, don't you hurry. Ghetto life. Talking about ghetto life. Talking about ghetto life. Hey baby, ghetto. Talking about ghetto life. Woo! Hey y'all, where's the place you're from? Told me that's the place where we're from. Where's the place you're from? Told me that's the place where we're from. Where's the place you're from? Told me that's the place where we're from. Where's the place you're from? Told me that's the place where we're from. Where's the place you like to from? Where's the place you like? That's the place where we're from. Where's the place you like to from? Where's the place? I knew I had it made. Get myself away. Did you think I was bad enough? Think I was strong enough? Think I was big enough? Did you think I want to get out?
And for that girl backstage, make it perfectly clear, never mind who you thought I was, I'm Rick James, bitch.
Welcome, one and all, WTF. Welcome to Funkatopia. Man, oh man, we have a show for you tonight. What an intro.
Let me just say, you can't start a better intro than Rick James. It's like, I don't care what party you're at. I don't care what's going on. Rick James comes on, Stone City Band starts playing. It's a wrap. Wallflowers are moving. Everybody's moving, man.
Oh my God. It's just fantastic to see you guys all here. We see you all over the place. Hello from Iowa. I see Atlanta in the house, Minneapolis, of course. We're here from the ATL. Indiana's in the house. I mean, oh my gosh, Tampa.
Tampa, what's happening?
Man, we got all kinds of people that have a bunch of questions and whatnot. But tonight, we normally will do a little bit of the news first, but we've been doing them at the end. So we're going to focus on the end because we have such a fantastic show tonight. An amazing guest here, right now in Funkatopia Live. I am your host, Mr. Christopher. This is my illustrious co-host, Mr. Jeff Page over here. Where? I think it reversed I guess it did reverse because the mic normally comes from that side, right?
Your mic or my mic?
So now, my mic. So now I am reversed. So this is my.
Did you point the wrong way?
I guess no. I don't know. Anyways, tonight we have the one and only Rick James, Stone City Band in the house tonight.
Yes.
Oh man, I am just excited beyond belief. And on top of that, they are in the green room. So I'm just beside myself. This is pretty amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him in. Man, we'll just bring him in one by one. We're going to start with the one and only Tom McDermott's in the house. What's up?
Hey, brothers. Yeah. Mr. Chris and Jeff, what's happening?
What's up?
Hey,
how are you?
Oh my gosh, this is insane. All right. Also, the one and only, the man with the plan. I mean, jeez. I mean, not that you are, Tom, but we're talking about Mr. Lee.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Way to go, Tommy. You look good, Tommy. T-Mac. Oh, man.
Levi, you're echoing a bit. You may want to turn that down a little on the phone, or however you're connected.
Yeah, you might want to turn on a little bit.
Okay.
Let's see. And I think we all together. Use in the house. Let's go ahead and bring them in.
Hey. All right.
What's that?
All right. Well, and we missing anybody? I think we have. Denise. Oh, there are the Hughes brothers in the house.
You got them both.
Yes, sir.
Oh my gosh, man! I'm gonna go ahead and just say, and Levi, I turned off. I just muted you just for a second, just because of the fact that I guess the speaker or however you're playing it is kind of doing a little bit of an echo. So let me make sure that you're situated. If you by chance maybe have a headphone or something, that may be good. But for right now, I'll just do it this way, and then I'll bring you in when we can talk. But I'm not even.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, I hit mic.
Okay. It's still a little volume.
Well, no. All it is you're listening to the show. So the show is playing back to your phone, and we're hearing it through your speakers. So it's looping.
Wow.
So you might have to turn that down a little bit.
I don't know how to do that now. Nate, Landis, I need y'all.
I told you earlier, this is what I'm working with. So I can actually.
Or if you have a headphone that you can grab real quick that you can plug into your phone, or some type of headset or something that you can put in, that it will be coming through your ears and not through the speaker and doing the loop. But I'm gonna for right now, I'm gonna do some general questions because, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start with you gentlemen, because you guys have been around for so long.
Yeah.
And the whole, and I have so many questions for Levi too. So hopefully he can find a headset or something that he can kind of put on there. And I think there may be something in the settings that we might be able to. So let me do this. Jeff, why don't you start off with some of the basic questions, and I'm going to go ahead and contact Levi via text, and just see if he can go into the settings and turn off the echo delay or whatever, and just kind of walk him through that.
Absolutely.
Let's just start with some general questions just to kind of go through it, because this is amazing stuff.
Let me first, before we even get into this, I'm sitting in the presence of greatness, and I appreciate you guys, because when I was a kid growing up, trying to be a rebel, you guys taught me how. You should feel proud of that.
Oh man,
Nice.
That's great.
How does a band stay together for that long, for so many years, despite everything through thick and thin, whatever emotional things? What happened? How does that happen? Just let's start right there.
That's a good
We're
question.
family. Yeah, it's a family first, but we tolerate everything that comes through.
Yeah.
We work it out.
So many people have to realize that it is about family first, regardless. We've seen so many great acts come around and come throughout the years and just fade away. And a lot of it is listening to, people. They get in your ear to separate you, especially when you're strong, like you guys have been for so long. Have you guys experienced a lot of that where you had to come together and straighten each other out? Like, hey, stop listening to Charlie over there. This is where we are. How often does that happen?
Yeah, there's always a little bit of that. I mean, you don't always agree on stuff, and you'll hear stuff that you say, what? And yeah, it's just like a family thing. Everybody in the family has an argument once in a while, more than once in a while, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I actually had a question, and I'm gonna try to bring Levi on. So basically, what I'm gonna do, Levi, is I'm gonna ask the question, and then I'll unmute you so you can answer it, because I don't think you're echoing. I think we're echoing on you. So let's just do it this way. So I'll ask you a question, then I'll unmute you so you can answer it. Because you actually spent a lot of time, and you and Rick started super early together at Bennett High School, and it has, first off, for the rest of the band too, has anybody else been connected with Rick James longer than Levi in this group?
No.
Okay.
Levi was number one.
Yeah, Levi was we know that. So, I guess what's interesting to me, Levi, is that there was one of the things that I had read about you, and I tried to do as much research as I possibly could about each member of the band, but one of the things that I read about you, Levi, was that you were technically, and you had just kind of been adopted into the position of being the psychologist of the group, the kind of one to kind of calm everybody down when things kind of got out of control or got a little bit out of hand. Is that just your nature, or can you think of an instance where there was a situation where things got really out of control or really, really tense that you had to step in?
No, that's the majority of those skills, man, came from me being in the military. I was an officer and a gentleman. I had to deal with guys with guns. And sometimes you had to really calm folks down because everybody was locked and loaded. So you learn how to smooth things out, man, before things really get out of hand. And either they're fists thrown or gunshots or all that other stupid crap happening every day now in America. But most of those skills came from the military. And being captain of baseball teams and things like that, I always seem to be the captain of the team. And you deal with folks, man, like you said, it's a big family. And all kinds of different attitudes about how to love, how not to love, how to be around dudes, whatnot. Is his ass smelling tonight, or was he all right? You deal with everything you possibly can, including the crew. I had to deal with everybody. I had to deal with Rick. I had to deal with everybody, man. It took a lot of work. That's why I'm glad to still be here. Believe me. And the guys are still hanging. We still talk a lot of crap, but it's good. It's good for the blood. Let it flow. Let it flow. Get it out.
Yeah, sir.
Well, I had heard a story of that, back when Prince was on tour with you guys, and don't worry, we have a ton of Prince fans in the audience. We're going to get to the Prince questions, but this one kind of stuck out since you were talking about, how you had to calm things down a lot. But I remember there a story being that there was one point where Rick James forced Prince to drink cognac and kind of brought him to the point of tears or something like that, some rumor of that sort. Was there anything that you saw that kind of happened backstage where you just you had to pull Rick aside and just be like, okay, we just got to just kind of, calm this down and just kind of put things back in order? Can you think of any specific instance, specifically to Prince, that really kind of, that came to a head?
Well, see, then again, I've heard about that. I've heard a lot of incidents of things like that happening. Majority of that is crap. Okay. Prince had his way of doing things. I had to deal with him and talk with him. Real cool dude. Didn't say much. And yeah, I drank cognac back then. And Rick really didn't drink that kind of cognac. And me and Prince was sitting at the bar at the hotel. And we just sat down. We started chatting. And the guy asked us, did we need drinks? And I said, yeah, I like a cognac. And Prince, I think he ordered milk. Or orange juice or something like that. And my mind was totally blown. But we sat there and I watched him drink his liquid and I was sipping on mine. And everything worked out. Now, it's one circumstance that people need to really know about, though, is when the guys in his band, really looked at us like we were like a bunch of I don't know what's. So we had to square them away one night. Mm. And it got to a point where they didn't know who the hell we were, and we knew who they were, and they couldn't believe we played the music on the stage, we played the music in the studio. We did. You guys did it all, and I wanted to say, yeah, unlike you do, because Prince played everything. And then after a little while, I guess it got kind of verbose and loud in the room, and I look out the door. Here comes Rick and Prince together to come over to us, all of us, and calm us all down. That's what people need to hear about. That both of them came over to the room where all that loud verbose talk was happening, and they chilled us out. And everything was cool. But they had their family of folks. They didn't know a damn thing about us. And they learned a lot that night. Because they said they weren't invited to the parties. I said, nobody was invited to the parties, man. Party over here, party over there. There's brawls everywhere, Holmes. And so we had to straighten those young asses out. Okay? So that's how we roll. We grown men.
All right. Get it. So what you're saying is the bands were the gang members. You guys were the problem.
I mean, really, man, they y'all, okay? Man, y'all have all these parties, y'all got all the women's and all this. I said, they everywhere, bro. Y'all must be taking it because we don't get none. That's y'all. Maybe y'all skill set ain't right. Okay. And it got louder and louder. And now next thing you know, you got Prince and Rick walking down the hallway. What's going on in here? Okay. I thought it was a beautiful circumstance, personally, because it chilled everybody out.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that we hear all the time is just that when you go Google Rick James and Prince, the only stories that you see are the ones that are all contentious and they're fighting or they're disagreeing or Rick saying something negative. And there's just so much stuff that is just it really kind of speaks to how they really respected each other as musicians. And there was so much going on, but there was also some other things too. Like I had heard, and you guys can verify this rumor or not, that when Prince would open for you guys, he would always do that disco, ooh, ooh, and Rick James got on his case and said, don't do that. That's mine. I do that. You don't do that. And also that Rick James was claiming that Prince was stealing his moves. And so I guess there was so many things where they kind of were borrowing against each other in just their style. And I think it was just a misconception of, how much they respected each other because, they just kind of, they kind of fed off of each other. Any of you want to speak to any of that as far as, how much they kind of maybe stole or borrowed from each other? Anybody outside want to chime in and so give Levi a little bit of rest here?
No, Levi would be the best to answer that.
I can basically answer that because there was a lot of thievery on both sides. And I guess, we got to admit that Prince was a bad little dude. Rick had his thing. Prince had his. It was somewhat limited, but what Prince did, he did quite well. Now, he did a couple of things that maybe made the whole world happy or mad, whoever side you were on. Like he would do things like walk through the crowds while we're jamming on stage on his bodyguard's shoulders. That is a faux pas as far as I'm concerned. That's an ass whooping thing right there. Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of nerve, bro. Okay. Yeah. That, man. But he did it. And I heard the story about the ooey ooey shit. pardon my language.
That's fine.
I heard about it, and really Prince was right. You don't own a ooey ooey. So there was a lot of dumb stuff going on, man. There was a whole bunch of crap going on that just didn't make any kind of sense. And then I saw a tape of Prince at one of his live shows later on in life. I had a leg move I had with my right leg, and I'm watching him do this stuff on stage. And I would slide on stage like I was sliding in baseball, sliding into a base. I saw him start doing that. I said, wait a minute, this guy's stealing everything from everybody. But it was mutual, and I used to think, man, that was cool. Right, I said, if he's doing something that I do, that's a compliment to me. Rick didn't take it that way. I took it that way. I said, Rick, man, he's imitating us because we the joint. Okay.
Form of flattery, right?
Yeah. Period. Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah. So when you're watching him, Jeff, you want to manage the okay, cool. When you're watching him, I mean, obviously when he's first came on tour, I mean, we'll go ahead and break into some of the Prince questions since we're already here. You know, when he first opened for you guys, I assume that probably not all of you were very familiar with his music, maybe one or two songs, maybe you hadn't seen the whole entire show. You know, what was your, and Tom, we'll start with you. What was your first impression of seeing him, and what were your thoughts? I mean, you know, he's obviously very, very different from Rick in a lot of ways, primarily because, you know, Rick was a very, you know, sexual masculine guy, and Prince was a sexual, not, you know, more effeminate than Rick was. What were you kind of taking in as you're watching him perform?
He was very dynamic, you know, number one. I loved his music, but what was really funny, because Rick is, like you said, so macho and all that, and the band, our band is all macho, and he came out in these little panty things, and it's like, dude, what's up with that, you know? But that was his style, you know, tried to shock and awe people, you know, and he did.
That's just amazing. What about let's ask what we haven't heard anything from Lanice. Lanice, what did you think?
Okay, like Tom said, the pants that he was wearing, which was looking like panties, and they were leopard skin. But the next thing was the shoes he had on. They were like high heels, and that was strange, very strange, to see someone like that come out on stage in heels and like a bikini underwear. And, you know, the one thing that caught my eye first was the animal skin on their amps. Now that was cool, but not on him. That was strange. And when I was standing out there in the audience, I could hear that from people saying, what the hell does he have on? You know, but the music was on. They were jamming. They were good musicians, and the music came across very good. It's just the image took people by surprise, and it kind of was a negative thing at first. But later on, it caught on.
Yeah, timing is everything, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I gotta think. As far as like when he did it with the Rolling Stones, I mean, it was like, I mean, I can't even imagine what it was like when he was doing that in front of that audience.
Right.
At least
that turned him off. That turned him off a lot.
There was like some similarities that were going on between what Rick was doing and what Prince is doing as far as musically was concerned. But all those rock and roll fans were probably like, what's happening here? I mean, he was rocking just that.
Lemons at him, man. I mean, they were throwing salad bowls at him. I mean, it was horrible. But then he had to go through.
Yeah.
But, you know, man.
You know, hearing that shows a level of dedication, though, because to go through that kind of rejection and not give up and say, I got something to say, I've got something to prove, I've got something to do here. I'm going to present my work no matter what. There's something to be said about that, because, you know, he had the opposition. His timing was like you said, people were like, what is he Sky wearing? So wow.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys went through a similar thing with Rick James. Your punk funk, that rebellious attitude thing that you guys did, right? You had to face kind of similar things, but more masculine version of it, I would say.
That's a good point, because the fact that we had braids on was a big thing, controversial circumstance. We had to go through it first. Yeah. The braids. Yep. I mean, what's up with y'all with these braids? You know, how y'all do that? And women would try to grab them. And man, but that was our look. And so you got to understand where we were coming from, and Prince, where he was coming from. This is who we are. We're Maasai warriors. That's what we are.
Right.
And we come to rumble.
Yeah, well, the question I had for you, Levi, specifically was that you knew him in high school, and some of the stories that go with Rick were that he was going to be drafted, and he took off to Canada, and because he wanted to avoid the draft. And what ended up happening was he ended up connecting with all these people that just seemed like I don't know what type of music that you and Rick played back in the day when you guys were playing in a band together in high school, but he connected. And for those who don't know the story, when he went to Canada, he ended up connecting with Joni Mitchell and Neil Young, of all people. And he actually put together a band with Neil Young called the Minor Birds, which is this is a picture of them right here. And I'm wondering, Levi, from your perspective, I don't know if you had an opportunity to be able to hear the Minor Birds when this was going on, what your thought was as far as what he had stepped into with this particular project. Was this the style of music that he was doing back then, or was this something that was just a little bit off in left field?
Well, it's off left, right, infield, outfield, home runs, everything. First of all, Rick went to Bennett and other high schools. I went to Hutch Tech. But we lived around the corner from each other. And in high school, like I said, he did his thing where he was. I remember one person saying that Rick was like a legend in his own mind. And I laughed too when I heard it. I thought it was so funny and cute. So he went through that sort of circumstance. And what happened was then there was the war going on. I mean, people getting dead, man. And he did something that a lot of guys tried to do, to join like the Navy or the Air Force or something, as opposed to going in as a Marine or a GI, because he was getting blown up. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't like 15, maybe 16 years old when he did it. And quite naturally, he went in, and quite naturally, knowing Rick James, if he did know him back then, if he didn't like it, he wasn't going to do it. Right, so they were hollering at him like they do in the military, and he didn't like it, so he left. And that's when he went to Canada. As far as me and him doing music back then, we were doing, R&B stuff. Yeah, really wasn't that much rock and roll in his mind, and it was a lot of R&B. Nice ballads we were putting together as kids. But when I found out about him with the Minor Birds stuff, that stuff blew my mind, because I knew about the Steppenwolf and all those other groups he was with back then, man, and those guys were giants. Joni Mitchell could ride her behind, and still, I guess she's still with us. She could ride her ass off, believe me. Mm-hmm. So he learned from masters, and they trying to save them in their way. Like Nate and them said, he used to save Rick, when they was playing ball, because he had a big mouth. But it was some guys roughing Rick up, man, when he was up in Canada as a young dude. And some cats came over there and stopped these guys from messing with him, and they were trying to be his band members. They saved him. Mm. That's the Rick James story as far as that music is concerned. And I had a chance to meet some of those folks, man. Whew. Wow. And they loved him. They called him Little Ricky. They loved him. That little guy had this powerful voice, man. And there we go. The rest is history.
And his story, as far as his ability to just find himself in situations. We're talking about Rick James. First off, both him and Prince loved Joni Mitchell. So, obviously when you dive deep into her catalog, she takes a little bit of digging to really understand what she's doing, but she is just a genius, musician, just a music master. But what's interesting is that, the things that Rick did in that period between, dodging the draft, rightfully so. A lot of people, felt similar to him, but there's stories about him doing acid with Jim Morrison, partying with Sharon Tate, who was later, uh, who was later, obviously, unfortunately, part of the Manson family murders and stuff. Had a child with Linda Blair. Well, you know how that story goes. Went to Ray Charles for information on how to get off drugs and how to get clean. Just the stories just kind of go on, and he just seemed like such a vagabond. He was just all over the place, and he just kind of went wherever he felt like he needed to go. Because I looked to see how he also bounced around from different projects musically to kind of find his place. So I really would like to kind of, and maybe this starts with you, Levi, as far as the band known as the Stone City Band is concerned, how this band was put together piece by piece to kind of get where it is, before we get to, come get it and all that. So where did it start?
Well, I guess it started in Canada, basically, because that's where he was hiding with the Minor Birds. And a good dear friend of mine, especially Billy Nunn, who just left us a couple of days ago, keyboard player, who I went to high school with, and wow. But anyway, wow. Sorry about that, y'all, but man, it's
No, it comes out to that.
I miss my brother. I miss him, Billy, real bad. Been knowing him for 60 years. I've been knowing him. Rick wanted to be a rock and roll star. Billy Nunn was one of the first person that noticed that. He didn't want to be an R&B singer. He wanted to be a rock and roller, running on the stage, jumping and flying, and that's what he really wanted to do. And he had a chance to do that with the Stone City Band. So we were a bunch of young. We weren't that young, but some of the guys in the band were pretty young, and we was straight Temptations. Who else? The OJs. That was our thing. Doing routines on stage and stuff like that. And he brought Steppenwolf down one time to see us up in Canada. And they said, man, you guys are rocking and whatnot, but you got to stop all that, hip hop, not hip hop, but doo-wop stuff and start wearing different kind of clothes, because right now you guys look like, to them, clowns. And so when we finally started hitting, Rick went back to everybody wearing the same stuff, just different colors. So he was jumping from here and hopping to there. And when we were younger, some of the stuff worked. I mean, I was making records before Rick was. Me and Billy Nunn. I mean, we were in high school making music. I knew Rick, knew of him, but I didn't know he could sing. I just thought he had a big mouth and was real loud, had a powerful voice, which he showcased every time he got behind that microphone too. Powerful voice. But yeah, he was everywhere, and he listened to all kinds of music. You name it, man. He had a grasp of all of it, basically. I mean, the India thing, with the satires and stuff. He was studying that stuff, listening to it. Whatever was out there, he was just listening and listening. And every now and then he'd get up, we go in the studio, man, and start kicking butt on anything, because it made sense. I mean, he was a vagabond, but when it was time to go in that room and start doing these records, he was on it. He was on it. And God bless him. He was on it. When he walked in that room, boy, it was like, let's get busy, y'all. And I remember like a native, and Lance will tell you, Tom will tell you the same thing. See, Tom auditioned for me in LA. We had a guitar player, Al Samansky, kind of fell out of I don't know, whatever happened to him. I still love him. We still talk. And he's making some great music right now anyway. But I had to put the band together piece by piece, because all I knew was just the guys I was with. Our group, the Foreign Dantes, with me and Billy in high school. I heard about Nate and Lannis and all these guys, but I had never really met some of these dudes because I was in my own vibe. I don't even know how I met Lannis and Nate, except in the basement at their father's house. But all of a sudden, they're the band behind us. So it worked out quite well. And like some people said, Bruce is history. you know, Rick made me audition everybody, including me. Because, you know, I wasn't a keyboard player per se. I was a singer. And he wanted me to be up there and doo-wopping and whatnot. And I said, I ain't going to do that, bro. I said, I'm going to play keyboards. And that's what I did. I learned how to do synthesizers. And I was like 29 years old when I started.
Wow.
But I wanted to do it. Because I didn't want to be up there doo-wopping and singing background. I wanted to run on stage, too, like he was. And like Tom got it together, man. You know, Tom came in just as green looking. All of a sudden, he was playing Mary Jane, but he couldn't hit that one vibe. I said, Tom, you come with this tomorrow, bro, you in. He came in the next day and he was in, okay? Danny came in with the horns, man. I said, man, Lord have mercy, these guys is blowing. Piece by piece, I introduced Oscar, who's no longer with us, up to his own decisions. Sometimes things happen.
Yeah.
And I introduced him to Rick. I saw Oscar on television. I never played with Oscar, didn't know him. But things kind of got together, man. And the guys we got together, man, went out there and started busting out on their behinds, okay? That's how the band started. It was, you know, pick here, a person there, somebody I heard about here and there. We all got together, man, under one umbrella. It was beautiful, okay? That's how it happened.
Just amazing. I can't even, it's just the amount of history that kind of goes into everything that you guys do is just unbelievable. And some of the stories behind some of the songs are interesting to me too. Like, Tom, this is a good question for you. I just threw up a photo here. I think this is somebody put up a photo of the Fired Up tour. I think this is in an airport or it's a parking deck or something. I think.
It looks like we're going on stage.
Oh yeah, I see this parking. That's crazy. Oh my God, that's amazing. I can't imagine you guys getting on a plane like this. Yeah, second thought.
Right.
No, it's
Of course, you know, this is the 80s, you know, this is the beginning of the 80s. So, but Tom, one of the questions I had heard, one of the things I had heard was that, you know, was regarding the famous song Super Freak. And I kind of wanted to expand on this because I'd read something that kind of blew my mind when I heard this, that when you guys were working on the song, the main groove of the song was like 20 minutes long. And Rick basically said, okay, you know, this needs to be tight. There can't be anything off in the song. I'm going to go to bed. You guys stick around and, you know, just find the best 8 bars. And that's what I want. And I guess, I don't know who was all in the studio, but from what I understand, you were one of them, and you guys were able to narrow down 8 bars that were just super, super, super tight. And you basically said, okay, we're going to set up another 24 track and we're going to copy those 8 bars multiple times and just kind of loop it repeatedly until it became what it was. Is there truth to that?
No. That's something I never heard of. The only thing I really remember is when we were doing the tune, I told Rick, I said, yeah, maybe we ought to go for like a Devo thing. And that's when I came up with down. And that was basically it. You know, when the Oscar came in and we were refining it, you know, it was basically and recording it at the same time. You know, but I've never heard that 8-track, this, that, the other. You know.
If this is true, this has got to be the first case of looping that I've ever heard. I mean, obviously they were doing DJ stuff back.
Yeah, no, we didn't have looping back then. You know,
that's just. I mean, you could bounce tracks around, but it wasn't like that.
Right.
That's fantastic. So, you know, what are some of the things you can remember about that, you know, recording session? I mean, how long did it take you to kind of craft that track?
It really didn't take that long. You know, we were all together. It was like the meeting of the minds, and we all had this energy, and the whole album went really smooth. Because basically, I think because Rick let the band have most of the control of it, you know, the music. And once we had those tracks down, it was like smooth sailing after that.
Yeah,
I'm always curious about when a band comes together like this and you guys do this creativity thing and you spend all this time, how much of the lyrics did you influence? Like, while, like you said, it's growing as you go, you're hitting a riff here. Does somebody like blurt something out and you go, oh man, and then you keep it? Or did it really, okay, tracks are done, Rick James is going to go right, you're going to come back and here we go? How
Yeah,
much?
number two. Yeah, number two. That's the way he would write. You know, after the tracks were done, he would like get this creative mind thunderstorm going, and he would just write down lyrics like a, you know, it was amazing to watch. You know, but it wasn't like anything he thought about ahead of time. It was more spur of the moment. You know, that's what his lyrics were. You know, off the charts.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fantastic. All right, let me ask you a question for Nate. We haven't really heard from you. Is it true?
Sir.
Is it true that you used to be Rick's personal assistants? Like you always used to have to go and like pick up the checks and run errands and stuff like that. Is that something that?
That's right.
What?
Yeah, I used to go pick up cases of Dom Perignon and pick up people from the airport, you know, and then I became my brother's drum roadie, because I was a drummer first in the band with Levi, you know, and things weren't going the way we wanted to at that time. So I got a job at the television station, and my brother took my place. But after that, you know, yeah, I was a runner.
Well, and what's the craziest errand that he ever had you run on?
Picking up cassettes at Motown.
That doesn't sound crazy at all.
No.
It was crazy.
Why was it crazy?
It was what's in the cassettes that I was picking up.
Oh my God. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. All right. What was that?
I just had to tell him, you know, I wasn't picking up no more cassettes.
Okay.
Because I mean, you know, a black guy driving back and forth to Beverly Hills, man, you know you're gonna get stopped. You know you're gonna get stopped. So they weren't catching me with that in the car. And that's the truth.
All right, there you have it. Yeah, so I mean, cassette tapes, especially when the inner side of the cassette tapes had like the fold over liner notes, it was much easier to hide things in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not giving away stories. I'm just saying it was easier to kind of cover it over. But no, I get it.
It seems like you had some knowledge of that, man.
We couldn't get the cassette tape closed correctly, but
Right.
it would be a little difficult to get it closed correctly. But yeah, I still to this day will open up a cassette to I've never heard this in a long time, and then it's just you get this whiff of what may have been in that cassette case.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, this is the storage one from long back then. All right, so yeah, okay. That's good.
Great.
You had talked about this. I don't remember who posted this on Instagram, but one of you posted this for Music Pays royalties for the Super Freak, and this is like current. So I'm really, really curious because one of the things that I had seen on this was that Prince would normally, most of the band members ended up being like a band for hire type of thing. And so he would always just be like the sole writer. And as far as royalties were concerned, he was not very generous in that regard. How was Rick in regards to royalties as far as the songwriting process? Like, did you all, get equal, cuts of it, or how did that all work out with him? How much different was he than Prince was?
Levi, go ahead.
Okay.
What's a royalty? I never heard of those before. we didn't experience that part of the package. Okay, we all had our different ideas. I gave him some ideas here. add things here and there. But royalty, what are those? I've never heard of those until just now. Okay. Does that answer your question? Man.
We're digging into
Clarify another thing too. Let me clarify one more thing if you don't mind.
Sure.
Linda Blair and Rick James did not have a child, okay? Who the hell brought that up?
It was in his book.
Where did rumors come from?
It was in his memoir where he had mentioned that Linda Blair got pregnant, and then she had. I don't want to get way too personal, but we're here, so let's go. That she had an abortion, and that was one of the reasons why he wrote the song "Cold Blooded." That was in a memoir that he wrote.
I don't remember none of that. I remember living there at the house with her. She was a beautiful little girl at the time and nice and sweet and didn't have a clue about funk and roll. And so maybe he taught her a few things, but I would have been like 17 years old. Man, these rumors.
And in some of those books, they had my name under somebody else's picture.
All kinds of madness.
So you can't go by that.
You know what's insane is that here's what I love about this. Here's what I love about this is because there's so many things that people are putting out there as fact and putting out, and it is so amazing to me to be able to have this opportunity right here to set these records straight, because there is so much myth. I mean, Rick James, because of his past and because of what was publicly out there, as far as his run-ins and whatnot, that you could tell a wild ass story and people would just believe it as fact, because you didn't really have, back then you didn't have the internet to kind of look things up or, access to certain, documents or whatever. So this is great to be able to kind of dispel some of these myths and rumors, because it's just amazing. And speaking of which, since we're here, what is the one rumor that you continually hear that you would like to clear up? Is there any one specific thing that you think about that you hear them say about Rick or say about you guys that you're like, that's not true, and I wish people would stop saying that?
That's a loaded question there.
Yeah.
I mean, oh God, I mean, I think the biggest rumor was the fact that this beef between Rick and Prince. I mean, yeah, Rick was mad as hell sometimes, but as musicians, man, I mean, they didn't talk about musicianship. They talked about, like I say, over a cup of tea or whatever. Prince was his own man in many ways, but he stole a lot of stuff from the band, Rick. I mean, the lighting that he started put together when he finally went out on his own. Remember, this was his first tour.
Right.
So I didn't really expect him to know a lot, but he learned a lot because he watched a lot. And you got to give it to him. He's with one of the biggest bands out there at the time. And who else you going to try to, look like? Or either, how dynamic are you going to be? One thing that I didn't know about Prince was how good a guitar player he was.
Yeah.
Until we was out there with him, and I don't think a lot of people knew that guy could play his behind off, man. We saw it early on. I mean, he was a better guitar player than singer. He could rock that. He could rock it. But there was so many rumors, man. I mean, I think it was the Emmys or the Grammys or some show, and he jumped on my back and we were walking around like I was a horse or some shit. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that happened. But it was all in jest a lot. A lot of stuff was in jest. Well, people would see it, they would probably get mad, but we weren't mad. We weren't really that mad. I remember one day that Rick got so tired of hearing about Prince from us that he took Daniel LaMelle's boom box and threw it against the wall. There was little stuff like that, man, but that was blown out of proportion. I mean, there was no fisticuffs. I don't think we had a fight with anybody. Well, we should have for some groups. It almost came to that a couple of times. I ain't gonna mention no names, but boy, ooh, man, the competition backstage was like Indians fighting the cowboys, boy. Like, whose land does this belong to? It was incredible sometimes backstage. No, we had guns on our bus, man. Come on, we had shotguns on our buses.
It's like the Who Shot JR thing.
It really was. The fellas will tell you, man, it was like the Wild Wild West backstage.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Man.
All right. So what
Did Rick James really slap Charlie Murphy? That's the rumor I want to know.
See, that never in the hell happened. Charlie was the coolest dude in the world. I mean, he was just laid back in the corner. He never did nothing. He'd get coffee and stuff like that every now and then. But when I saw him on television, I laughed my behind off because that ain't Charlie with the damn, okay? But he played that role tremendously well, okay?
He did.
Oh, man, I mean, I miss him too, man. My kids thought he was funny, and he was. But his uncle, he was funny. I mean, the whole package that Eddie had with him, they were a funny bunch, man. But Eddie would even tell Rick and us, told Rick one day, man, your boys are funnier than mine. Because when we started laughing, boy, we had a ball, okay? And we told good jokes. You know, the Prince and the thing, but Eddie, man, two different things, man. But we two young men who really didn't know their feet at the time, and they learned a lot from us. You know, Rick would talk business to everybody. New Edition, they come out to the house. I mean, Rick would, whoever needed help, he would talk to them. And they would stay at the house for a week, whatever it is, man, just sitting there, you know, trying to design how they're going to work the rest of their lives as musicians or whatnot. And he would let them come out to the house, man, and live there. You know, I would sit there and talk with the guys, man. A couple of guys needed a whooping every now and then because they would think about they were children, but they learned. Yeah. And Tom and those guys and Nate, they went on the road with them. A New Edition.
Yep.
Why don't y'all tell them about that, yo?
Wow.
Yeah,
All that
All that what?
fun.
Yeah.
Sorry, man, I had to take care of a blind. What? Okay, yeah, I went out with New Edition on their Heartbreak tour. I was a percussion player. I went out there 80, 88. And then after that, 89 to 95, I was with Bobby Brown when he went solo. I did 2 world tours with him.
wow.
It was a great adventure.
Yeah, that whole band, I don't think, even though, you know, they were a boy band, I think, you know, they caught a lot of slack because every single one of them was just incredibly talented. And it wasn't just a matter of, you know, with New Edition, it wasn't just, you know, one person just being the star. Every single person easily stood on their own. And I think it's really, really cool that, you know, Rick James kind of took them under his wing and kind of really, you know, did a lot with them to kind of make sure that, you know, probably that experience really helped them individually with each of their shows, I'd imagine. I mean, it's just incredible. So when you were on tour with Bobby Brown, was he still in touch with Rick James at that time?
Yeah, he stayed in touch with Rick James off and on, but you know, Rick was off into another dimension at that time.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, they didn't stay in contact that much. So he was too busy, you know, dealing with Whitney.
Oh, yeah, of course. There's that part, right? So let's clear up this other rumor, because this is, again, I was trying to get all this information together, and this one I kept seeing repeatedly, that so you were talking about how each of them, Rick James and Prince, would borrow from each other. But Rick James stole Prince's synthesizer, used the custom sounds that Prince had created, and put it on his Street Songs album. There was actually a guy that actually pulled the synthesizer apart that was a very specific custom sound that Prince had created. And then after he was done with it, he deleted all the programming off the keyboard and then returned the keyboards to Prince with a note that said, "Thanks, motherfucker." That was basically it. And this is apparently Tina Marie told.
That's a good story, but no, not that my knowledge it hadn't.
Wow. This is
Wow.
incredible. This
That didn't,
I've seen
That didn't happen.
multiple times. Wow.
I have never heard this one.
No.
It is true urban legend.
Oh my God! But okay, one thing did happen though. They said it was a screw up with us using some of Prince's keyboards. That's because the guys that were transporting our equipment from up north down to Florida at the Bee Gees house and studio, they had the wrong bus. I mean, the wrong truck. We go to get our stuff out, man, and there's all the Prince's stuff. And so we take it out. You know, I didn't have to change anything on anybody's shit. We used until our stuff came, which was about a day. Then our stuff got there. We needed his stuff for nothing. And the rib is like we stole this and we stole. Man, that crap never happened, man.
Right.
And I really get tired of hearing that one, man. About we stole some shit from Prince, man. I mean, come on. We did the Garden of Love album. That was the smoothest thing we ever done, man. We went down there to chill out. We didn't go down there, man, to have all that controversy and crap like that, man. It wasn't even about that.
That Garden of Love album.
Also, the very next time we got together, we had another show, and Prince played, and they played all their material. So how did we delete anything if he went and did a show the next time we got together?
I love this show. This show is amazing. We are clearing up all this garbage that's out there about Rick and you guys. This is incredible to me. This is so fantastic. We get to dispel all of this garbage right here.
This is
fantastic.
so much of it.
I'm so excited. This is fantastic. I love this because I think while I think a lot of people want to think that Rick James and Prince were kind of always at each other, I think it's so much better to realize that wasn't how it was at all. I mean, there was a lot of things that, I heard that there was some issues with, maybe not, we'll find out. This is a rumor too, that Rick was talking about putting together a girl group and that Prince had beat him to the punch with Vanity Six. And that Rick was really upset about that. So that was one that I had actually heard about. Levi, who are you talking about here?
That's true. That's 100% true. That really made Rick mad. That made him hot. And they came out with this stuff, man. We came out with the Mary Jane Girls. I think the Mary Jane Girls were a little bit better, as it were.
Well,
musically and vocally.
Yeah, and while I do love Vanity Six, as part of the Purple Circle culture and whatever else, Mary Jane Girls, come on, man. The songs that were there, I mean, come on. It was just so much funkier and so much it was just so much funkier of a project than Vanity Six was. I mean, I like some of the Vanity Six songs, but it was not the Mary Jane Girls. So and from what I understand, it also happened on the protege side of things with the Time versus Process and the Do-Rags. So you kind of had that whole competition going on as well. So what were some of the things in regards to the Girl Project thing? Anybody want to say?
Oh, there they go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. You were breaking up.
No, I would say what was Rick saying in regards to when this went down? I mean, what was some of the things that he was saying? He was obviously ticked off, but was he, upset that he had beat him to the punch, or just that he felt like he stole the idea? Or what was going on in his mind?
All of that. Think about that, man. I mean, it was a big thought. There were no girls out there doing that stuff that Prince was doing. Mm-hmm. And there was a couple girl acts out there like the Mary Jane Girls, but we put that Stone City Funk on their asses. And JoJo, who I went to college with at Buff State, sang her lungs out. It was a whole package of us sitting there, man, making sure these girls were gonna have some hits. Yeah. And they came out smoking. Choreography, they were ladylike, except for Candy with the motorcycle broad, but they had their own look. They could sing, most of them, no further than that. But they were good, and Rick wrote some real good lyrics with them.
In my house.
Wow.
I mean, In My House All Night Long. I mean, those are just you can feel you guys did put the funk on that. It's just better across the board. It's just better across the board. So while he may have beaten up to the punch,
I'm glad you mentioned that because that was a track we were doing up in Sausalito, and Rick wasn't there. And it was me, Danny, a couple of other guys in the band, and I was playing Fender Rhodes. And Rick comes in, and he said, "What y'all doing?" And we played it back for him. And Rick said something like, "Damn, Levi, that's a whole lot of jazz you're playing." And I said, "Man, He said, "But I like it." I mean, that song, it was nice because he wasn't there, and we went for it. And we just had a ball doing that one, man. We had a ball doing all of it because the girls were sweet. They cried a lot because Rick will make some people cry when he was angry. And but then again, I go in and give them some roses and hug them and some candy bars and say, "F Rick, let's do this." But it worked out well. They worked out well.
So what about processing the do-rags? What was involved in that project?
Play with that one, man, because I auditioned all the people in that one too. Great singers.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. Nobody pushed it. The only person that could have pushed it was Eddie. He wanted to take them on the road on this tour. Do you think that would have helped a little bit with them opening up for Eddie Murphy? It never happened. Why? I don't know. To this day, I know, but I'm not going to mention why.
Well, and you bring up a good point about, Eddie Murphy and that part of it, because I had also, I'm getting tired of saying there's a rumor because like 90% of this is not true. That really kind of him working with Eddie was really, really him trying to, catch up to kind of what Prince was doing and really kind of just want to come out and hit hard and just kind of recreating, some of the sound that what was that Prince was kind of gearing towards or moving towards, but Prince was never in one place anyways. So I don't know. Rick always stayed true to his sound. And that's what you can appreciate about Rick James. It's like, Prince, you can't listen to any album by Prince and there's any continuity with the styles that he's doing, because he's always seems to be all over the place. It's just, there's always a good bit of funk, but then there's rock, and then there's a little bit of everything. But Rick always stayed true to his sound. But were you guys involved in the project? Kind of going back to the Eddie Murphy thing, were you guys involved in working with them with Party All the Time and all that?
Well,
go ahead, Nate.
I programmed the drums for that on the Simmons head. He just had me just go home and put a lot of beats in there, and that's just one of the ones he picked. And I also did the one for Cold Blooded too.
Speaking of which, got that one too.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's one of those. This album, man. Cold Blooded, Ebony Eyes, 1, 2, 3. I mean, Pimp the Simp. Come on,
That the pimp.
That album right there.
Come on.
That was a lot of hours working.
I bet it was. That's just like the classic stuff. Well, so here's another question I have for you regarding I guess Rick moving to Warner Brothers in 1987. This is something I was really, really curious about. Was this, and the reason why this is so curious to me is obviously Prince has been on Warner Brothers since day one at this point, and he's been insanely successful. He's already got Purple Rain under his belt and a bunch of, many platinum albums and whatnot. What was that part of Rick's decision to move to Warner Brothers, was hoping that he would kind of get the support that Prince got, or was there more involved with a disagreement or something that happened with Motown? What was going on as far as because I would have to think that at some point in time, and I could be wrong, that in the consideration to go to Warner Brothers, he has to be going, all right, Prince is there.
Prince is there.
There's other labels to go to, so I'm kind of curious as to what may have been the thought process in that move.
Levi, go ahead.
I really truly don't. I remember when Rick was first looking for a label, when we had done some stuff up in Canada and we were looking for a label, and I suggested Warner Brothers to him then. And then he goes out to LA, and next thing I know, he comes back with Motown. I thought it'd be the last place he would go because he'd worked with them before. But now he's with the Cartoon Network, Porky Pig and them. And I don't know what the negotiations were about. Rick didn't discuss anything. Next thing I know, he's with Warner Brothers. And I know no more than that. Yeah, that wasn't it Porky Pig Cartoon Network? Yeah. Yeah, I thought, yeah. I thought the biggest star I was talking about first, I thought it was Porky Pig and them. That's all, folks. He was their biggest seller. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Please forgive me.
Perfectly okay.
Oh, God.
Oh, my. All right, let's talk about somebody who is amazing. I mean, Rick has had his hands in a lot of fantastic artists and just kind of contributed to a lot of successful, famous artists. But there's one in particular that I definitely want to talk about right now, and that is the one and only Tina Marie.
Yes.
I guess some of the history here, because I know she was kind of, obviously she was a musician and she was really starting to kind of get her feet wet, and she was really starting to get a lot of traction. And then she kind of connected with Rick. Do you guys have do any of you have any idea, how they eventually ended up connecting together, and ultimately, I guess some of the highlights of this particular relationship between these two?
Somebody go with it, man, because like it's deep. And in fact, you mentioned her. I was just interviewed with her last month. This guy's writing a book on her, man, and brought back a lot of great memories and some sadness. It's just life. Yeah, she was a little bitty thing, man, and I just couldn't believe. I couldn't believe she was a white girl. Let's bring it out. What the hell? That can't be no white girl singing like that.
Right.
I mean, my wife heard that and she said, "Wait a minute, don't lie to me. Who is this girl?" I said, "She's a white." "No, she ain't." And the next thing I know, me and Lannis and and I don't know who else was there, man, but we was in New York, man, tracking her. Lannis showed his behind doing what exactly what he had to do. I had some kind of different sound I used on the ARP, as a matter of fact. I didn't even use them anymore. We used the ARP on that track, and nobody could believe that voice came out to that little bitty white girl.
Yeah.
They just could not believe it, man. I mean, it took us a while to say, how in the hell did she do this? I mean, she's a little bitty, Prince-like, Pixie-like, little bitty thing. Girl must have weighed, 75 pounds, 80 pounds, maybe. So and all that voice came out of her. It was just absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Now, Tom, I know you did some work with her too. I know you were on the Must Be Magic and Star Child and all that stuff. What you obviously have some stories as well. Tom, you want to share some stories about Tina and what was kind of going on back then?
Not really. I thought she was really cool to work with, and she was very very humble and very nice, no ego, kind of like a 180 from Rick. Just she kind of lets you do your own thing. That's basically it.
That's fantastic. I mean, it's just unreal,
man.
All right, let's dispel one more rumor. Let's dispel.
Here we go.
Let's dispel one more rumor, and then I'm going to show a few photos, and you guys are going to tell me what's going on in these photos. The rumor that let's see what this rumor is true. That Rick James wanted Prince to autograph something for his mom, and that
Hmm.
Prince refused because I guess he didn't know who she was, and it sent Rick into a fury, and it ended up causing a big rift in between the two of them. Is that story true?
Levi.
I'm gonna have to say yeah.
Okay. We finally got one true.
Yes.
One true.
Love the crowd noise. Yay!
Okay. Tom, you want to tell me about this picture here? Let's do a little picture thing.
Sure.
Let's what's going on
Oh
between
my God. That was in Jamaica. And that was that was one night I'll never forget. And it was a bigger picture of that in Rolling Stone magazine. And my parents saw it, and you just smoking a cigarette, Mom, Dad, But man, it was like a shotgun, and I was very high for the rest of the set. It was, yeah. But I made it through it. I'm here today. It's like, oh my God, I couldn't believe that,
Oh my gosh. It's such a great photo. Now, how often, I mean, we know that Rick was obviously a little bit of a partier in the cassette tape realm. How often did that stuff happen on stage like right as before you guys were going on? I mean, was there ever any show that just kind of went way off base because you guys were like not able to do the show right?
Oh, no. We're always pretty much in control, but go ahead, Levi.
Right. I stopped smoking weed after I left college. And he would pass the joint around. Sometimes I'd look at it and pass it to somebody else. But I did hit it in Jamaica, and Tom, you ain't lying, I was flying. That was what they call it, that Jamaican skunk weed.
Yeah.
It had the whole band, the crew, the crowd, everybody was floating in the air, okay? That's what it seemed like. But every time we had a show, a real show, yeah, Rick would smoke joints on stage. And sometimes the cops were there to arrest him. He would tell the audience, the cops are here to arrest me for smoking weed here. Are you going to let them do that? And the crowd would say no. Next thing you know, man, the cops start disappearing. I used to think, man, they're going to have Rick locked up, man, for, perpetrating a riot, okay? But Rick would fire it up and blow the smoke in the police's faces and shit. I'm saying, oh, Lord, we're all going to penitentiary tonight, okay? We all going to jail. Okay, here we go. Y'all got your handcuffs, man, because we ready to go to jail. No, but everybody, man, after the gig now, there's a whole bunch of 8 tracks and cassettes and all that other shit, mini discs and all kinds of stuff after the show. But before the show, man, we were ready to rock and roll, make music, man. And, that was our job. You go out there and kick that behind.
Yeah.
But after we got finished back, man, everybody be dripping wet, sweating everywhere. Because we work our behinds off, man. We're an hour and a half every night. Every night. We did Tina's music. We did some of our music, Rick's music, Mary Jane Girl's music. We did everybody's music sometimes in the night. And we would relax with I think Tom was drinking Miller Lite because he won't turn me on the light beer. I kind of like that stuff. And I love my cognac. At the time, it was, pretty good. And we didn't have to pay for it because it was like part of the rider. But after the show, man, we had a ball. In many cases, now me personally, I'm not that kind of go out and hang with people crap, man. And because I know it's gonna be some crap, somebody gonna get slapped in the eye. And where Levi at? So thank God they didn't have cell phones back then, because I would run out off the stage, go to the room, change my clothes, get my key, go on our bus, lock the door, and go to sleep. Where's Levi? Man, I ain't seen him. I'm on the bus sleep, okay? Because I know Rick in there acting a fool, having a good time. All the freaks is out there. Oh my God. Big fun.
Come on, Levi. You and me
What
were.
Tom, are you going to talk about the cassette or we used to call it coffee, if I remember.
Yeah, coffee. That's
We
right.
used to call it coffee. Yeah, me and Tom, that was that white powdery substance. I used to call it producing powder. We used a lot of it in the studio. Yeah, production powder. That stuff was great. See, me and Tom were the only guys in the band that were married. So we roomed together all these. That's my room dog, y'all. And I remember one night we were sitting there and I'm doing my coffee. He got his coffee. And I said, Tom, how much of this shit you done? And we started adding it up. And we only had been on the road like, I guess, 2 weeks. And it was like a couple of grand. I'm sitting there saying, this don't make no damn sense, man. Coffee. I mean, you had nothing to show for but a bloody nose. So what the hell, man? Come on, man. That coffee, boy, it can get to you. My man.
Oh, God.
No, we had fun, yo. But when it's time to get on that stage, it's all seriousness. And one good thing too, I know Tom, you can admit this, I know because you've seen it. He would let us damn it do anything on stage, as long as we was out of the way. You know, I could run over to Oscar, Ty could run over here. You know, I mean, we had a ball. And sometimes he would smile, man, because he knows the fellas was kicking. You know, we had some great gigs, man. Great gigs. So a couple bad ones we want it.
That kind of leads me to the next question that I have, because there's rumors, there's always this conversation about it's not rumors, but how hard Prince worked and how hard he worked the band and the rehearsals of, you know, days and days. So what was rehearsal like for the Stone City Band? What's that intensity like? How hard did you guys work? Because obviously, if you can do anything you want on stage, you've got to be tight, because you just can't do that unless you know that you're in pocket no matter what. So what was rehearsal like for you guys?
Go ahead, y'all.
It was grueling. He would make us rehearse the whole set and then do it again. Take a small break and repeat everything all over. We were doing that almost 7 days a week, you know, and we got the show tight, where all we had to do was just play the music. He would come in any spot. He would call a breakdown. You know, you better do that breakdown. You know, if you miss that breakdown, you get a fine. You know, but all he was doing was hand signals, and we knew exactly where to go in the music. But he did give us the freedom to stretch out. He would let Tom do a solo and let him go berserk, whatever he wanted to do. As long as he came back on the one, you know, he would do that. He would let Oscar do a solo, you know, and then he would go over to him and pull on the strings till they break. He would snatch them out the guitar, and they'd just give him another guitar and continue the show. But the show was always tight, and we would just blast the audience. The audience would be in a trance after the performance, you know, and they would completely forget whoever else was on that show, because all they can remember is us kicking they behind all night long.
Man, that's fantastic. Because I had actually heard that when the Temptations, when they was working with the Temptations, I guess the Temptations weren't prepared when they went to the studio, and that Rick was kind of agitated. Like, he get real agitated if you didn't listen to the cassette, or you didn't practice, or you just weren't prepared. And I had seen, this may be one of those things again, this proved this one too, that the Temptations weren't prepared when they came in to do the background vocals on Super Freak, and that he was just really agitated by the fact that they just weren't prepared like they should have been, or he felt that they weren't prepared.
That's true. That is true. He was hot. You know, same thing with standing on the top. You know, they coming in all nonchalant and this and whatnot and all that kind of crap. And they had rehearsed none of their parts. I mean, you had to write down the songs and stuff for them, and they came in like it's going to be a big party, and it was a big party. I mean, some of the biggest stars in LA, Hollywood, man, were there for the sessions, but he had to get in their behinds. He said, man, y'all ain't studied nothing. He went off on them. Because, you know, that wasn't fair, man. We got you guys back together and everybody, Motown happy. Right. Y'all walking here, man, like nonchalant, like, what's up? No. We come here to work, bro. But when they started working, whew, wonderful. They were my heroes. I was, you know, doing my doo-wop stuff. Wasn't nothing better than the Temptations. And that track was hot as fire. I mean, oh man. I remember Lannis playing. See, back in the day, wasn't all that looping crap, man. So if the song lasted 12 minutes, we played 12 minutes, okay? So that groove was sitting though, man. We sat on that groove. Oh my God. And then when we got finished with it, I'm thinking about the OJs, about the Temptations, man. Back in the day, you know, all the harmonies where we broke it down with the horn parts and all that kind of stuff. That was a hot track. Very, very hot track, man. I was proud to play with them. Yeah, but Rick did get in their behinds. Yes, he did.
Man.
They thought it was fun. Rick said, no, man. Look, I let y'all go home and study this. You come here, you guys ain't done nothing. He was mad as hell.
Man.
Levi, you mentioned earlier when you were talking about rehearsal, and you said, like, for example, if somebody missed the call out, you were fined. And one of the things we were wondering about is how difficult was that? Like, you know, James Brown docking pay for artists when they made mistakes and things like that. Were there different things that you guys had to suffer for other than just missing a bridge or like, how many different things did he say? Okay, like a swear jar, you know what I mean? Put the money in the jar if you mess this up.
Once again, that's Rick said it a lot. He must have said it like 100 times one night. Everybody fined $100 million, okay? But Aaron Dublin, who took care of like the fine money and all that other kind of stuff, he said, Levi, I ain't taking that money out of your money, man. We saved that money for the end of the tour. We have a big ass party. I said, thank you, bro. I don't think I told the band this though, but you're fine. I mean, he'd be doing it live on stage, live, not just in practice. He'd do that crap on stage. And like one night, this is really fun. I got to put this anecdote in here. We started taping the shows and we jamming, Rick jamming, and Rick looked at us like we were stupid. I said, what the hell is he mad about? So we get on our bus and here he comes, storming in on our bus. Y'all fine. Y'all did this and I just can't believe y'all did all this madness and this and that. And put the tape on. They put the cassette in and the party he was talking about, it wasn't us, it was him. I wanted to crack up, man. I had to put my head down laughing. Yeah, listen to that. Oh, shit. Yeah, you. Oh, my bad, y'all. Yeah. But he was mad a whole show at us about some shit he had done. I was so mad at him. But he apologized in his own way. He apologized. He had some more cassettes on the bus, you know, so everything was cool. Man, we had fun, bro. Oh God.
Who among you is probably more intimately involved with the lyrics? I mean, obviously that was Rick's thing, but as far as like singing background vocals, because here's my question, and this is probably going to sound stupid when I say it, but I've been in a couple bands where we performed Super Freak. And one time I was preparing for the song and had all the lyrics down because I was going through the process of trying to memorize all the lyrics for the song. And when it got to the line where it says, when I get there, she's got incense, wine, and candles. And then I saw another lyric area that said intertwining candles. And I'm like, is it intertwining candles or is it incense, wine, and candles? Which one is it? I see. Leave it. Take mute off.
Yeah. It's the last one you sang because I had to do the lyrics for him when we did Saturday Night Live, and he forgot the song. So I had to write all the lyrics now because he came in real ill. He had no business there. But it was incense, wine, and candles. It's such a freaky thing.
Incense, wine,
and candles.
Yeah, and that makes it makes complete sense. But for some reason, some other lyric site had it intertwining candles. And I was like, what the was intertwining candles?
Damn, how many cigarettes you gonna light? Okay.
About that line.
Okay.
Let's see if I can.
Going back to Chinatown.
Let's see if I can pull up another picture and see if anybody can remember this particular one. I see Tom in this one too, I guess. What's this photo from?
Video. Look like I can't see no
Yeah,
more.
yeah. That was basically a Photoshop. I mean, not a Photoshop. A photo for the band album. I don't know. Yeah.
That's
Oscar, Danny, Levi, Erskine, Williams, myself.
This is fantastic. I mean, I love seeing these old shots and these old boards. It just brings back memories to kind of see these old boards, and it's just fantastic. All right, let's look at one more. let's look at this photo, which is Nate.
Yes, sir.
Tell me a little bit about this photo.
You broke up. I didn't hear you.
Tell me a little bit about this photo.
That was a photo shoot that we did for one of our albums. Me and Danny, Blow Danny.
Man, it's just I love these old photos. It's just gotta just. Sometimes you just look at photos and it just brings back memory, and even if you don't know the people in it, it just takes you back to the time, with the fashion and the hairstyles and everything. You're just like, man.
And again, we're doing that, for guys, so it's interesting.
Unbelievable. So we had talked a little bit about, and we just talk about one more thing here real quick. And obviously we had talked about, the Dave Chapelle effect and everything that happened with that. And, one of the things I found interesting regarding Dave is that, he kind of really boosted Rick James' career by kind of pulling things back in. But what Rick seemed to be into it because he was obviously interwoven into this skit, but how did he really feel about this? Did he kind of feel like he was being, made fun of? And you're saying that some of these stories aren't even true as far as what Charlie Murphy had said. So how did Rick really kind of feel about this after seeing the finished product of this?
Want me to speak up again?
Yeah,
he loved it. Go ahead. He loved it. He thought it was funny as hell, and he loved it. I thought he'd be mad as hell. He loved it, man. He was back. His face was back in the news. He was like 100 pounds overweight, but he didn't give a damn. I'm back. I mean, had the whole world saying, I'm Rick James, bitch. Okay, come on. Which he never said, really. I could tell you how he used to always say it. I'm Rick M.F. James. That's how he used to say it. I had never heard him say I'm Rick, never. But
it's funny
that's funny as hell. Yeah, because the other one that's when he was like, man, I'm Rick James. I'm Rick M.F. James. I should look at him. I told him, no, fuck, your name is James Ambrose Johnson Jr. And don't you forget it, bro. Rick boy. Woo.
Oh my God. Oh,
miss him.
Lord.
I miss his ass, though. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I miss him, and I'm mad at him at the same time. Cause we could still be doing stuff, producing other young kids. We getting ready to do that stuff right now. Some younger folks, we gonna do all this, man. The talent is still there. Minds are still open, man. I like some of this hippie shit they're doing. Okay, and we got some young folks, man. Right now, we're gonna try to put that funk on the back of them, and they can hip hop all over the world with money. Okay. That's what our thoughts are right now, and we still want to tour. We think we can get on that stage, shake our little booty. They old now, but they still shake. And the keyboards and the guitars, everything's still the same. I think the strings all in the same place where they was 40 years ago.
Right.
And we want to have fun, man. I mean, regardless, it's fun.
Right.
Going up there, man, and hearing people from 40 years ago knowing all the lyrics. Old white people, old black folks, young folks, everybody singing songs that we did, man, what, 40 years ago. That's a great feeling, man.
Yeah.
That is a great feeling. Hear people cheering for some stuff that they were like 17. And one guy told me at this one gig we did here in Vegas, man, he said, man, you guys remind me when I was in college, man. And I made it through college listening to y'all play music and laughing and doing my cassettes. And got me through, okay? Got me through. Yeah, we use that word cassette forever now, okay?
I'm
Wow.
gonna have to go through my old cassettes. I'm sure I left something somewhere. I'm sure I left something somewhere for sure. So I guess the last thing I'll ask too, and I know I said the Dave thing was going to be last, but somebody had asked a question about the Rick James musical and what you guys kind of felt about this unveiling, and that apparently Stokely is also doing playing Rick in the musical as well. I don't know that I know all the details about this musical. Do any of you know any of the details about it, or have you been approached to participate in it at all?
You're just about it right there. Stoke is singing behind off.
Absolutely.
No question.
Yeah.
Got to give it to him. But I don't know anything about anything else other than another Buffalo guy's driving the bus. Smiley.
Wow.
I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything about is it good or bad or indifferent. They're going to Buffalo, I think, what is it, this week or is it next week? Yeah. And a lot of people are really torn about spending that money to go see it. I don't know. I have no idea. We had no input in this at all.
Wow.
This is Rick's daughter's. I don't know.
Yeah, it just seems like it would make the most sense for you guys to be involved in some form or fashion. I mean, I guess you got tracks, but you know, it is what it is. But here's what thing I am excited about: the fact that you guys are on the road, that you guys are playing off and on. I see that you guys are going to actually be in, and I'm hoping this is not old news, that you guys are actually going to be in Atlanta in a month or so, and you guys are doing some funk shows and playing with, you know, bands like Zap and like that. And so super excited that you guys are doing this. What does your upcoming schedule look like on some of these shows?
Right now, April 2020 in Baltimore at Bethesda Theater.
Yep. And they're going to be Jeff, just so you know, they're going to be in Stockbridge, down where we saw Morris Day and the Time and Midnight Star.
Oh yeah.
They're going to be down there as well, and I think you guys are playing with Zap, and I think Midnight Star is going to be there again. I think, but I love that you're doing these shows and that you're out there and that you're plugging away with them. You know, I guess, you know, Levi, you were saying that you were, you know, really, you know, interested in the fact of, you know, really kind of getting out there and doing it. And I mean, you are doing it. So I guess the question is, you know, how many shows you guys got booked besides these two?
We're in the process of doing some more. Papers are being signed as we speak, as a matter of fact. From some folks that's trying to get us together on that. And we were trying to get other groups with us, like Homeboys, but they're going to be busy getting their break. So, but we're going to be trying to get all these guys together, man. Go out there, have some fun. Have some fun.
Well, just know Atlanta's our home base. So when you're here, we're coming to the show. So, you know, be sure of that.
Got to come out. And where people find some? Where can people? What would you guys like to promote right now? I mean, obviously these shows. Anything else that's coming out that we need to get excited about? That's coming.
Yeah. Nate Lattice, all y'all, man. But I don't want to discuss it right now. We got some irons in the fire.
Yes,
All right, then that's exciting enough.
Yeah.
we got something simmering.
Yes, irons in the fire.
Oh, Tom just went off screen. I don't know if he's about to divulge something on y'all.
He dropped his cassette.
Tom's phone kept ringing. Where's Tom?
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay. Wow.
We got a couple of boat cruises, in the process of happening too.
Yeah.
Are they funk cruises or who's playing with you on these cruises?
Well, I don't know who's playing on them, but it's usually about 10 acts.
Yeah.
I know one of them is a Soul Train cruise.
Right.
So one of our listeners actually had an interesting question, and I just thought, wow, I never even thought of that. Did any one of you guys ever go to a Prince concert?
Besides when he was opening up for you guys.
Besides when he was opening for you guys.
I did.
I did when he came to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was backstage there for a hot minute.
That's it's I mean, and how far in his career was that? Was it much later in his career? Or was it in the 80s or was this, one of his later tours?
Damn, good question.
Right after he opened up for us, he started headlining.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But when he played Buffalo, he'd been out a while. I mean, because remember at that time, that's when Prince was like going in the bars, and nobody knew he was in there, and he started playing, and the place would get packed.
Mm-hmm.
And so he did the thing in Buffalo, and it was packed. But I don't remember if that was like I don't remember when, so many years ago, But that's when he was, remember, if you guys remember, especially the host, that's when he'd be, going to nightclubs, maybe 300-seat nightclub and start jamming.
Yep.
That's about the same period of time. The dates I just can't remember.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, one of the things I'm definitely looking forward to, and I hope they remedy this sooner rather than later, because I know that Prince was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2004.
Right.
That's the same year that Rick left us, but I know that Rick saw that induction. I don't know if he ever said anything to you guys about it, but I think it is a sad state of affairs that Rick and you guys have not been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It does not make any sense to me whatsoever. Especially when you look at the lineup of some of the people that have been in here that keep getting in within the last 10 years. It's like, why are they there? I'm just like, no offense to, guys like, Notorious B.I.G. or any of that, but it's like, there are so many bands that I think would fit into this slot better in this mix, and not that he's not deservedly so. He kind of fought the system and did some things, but
absolutely,
how can you miss Rick James
right,
and a Stone City band? I mean, come on now. But here's hoping, since I actually do have a vote, that if it comes across, you can guarantee that my check will be on for you guys for sure.
Appreciate it.
Sure.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
But man, I'm extremely honored to have you guys on here, and I'm so glad that you guys are out playing. If Jeff, you want to say something?
Yeah, because before we let anybody go, we gotta get a bumper.
Oh, okay. All right.
You gotta get a what?
What's a bumper?
It's kind of like a little promo. Basically, for those who don't know, we actually have a 24/7 funk radio station called Funk Up that is, and we play 24/7 funk and it's ASCAP license, so all the artists get paid whenever we play the music. And whenever we have an artist on that we showcase on the app, like Rick James, we'll play like a little bumper in front of it saying, this is Nate Hughes from from Stone City Band, and you're listening to Funkatopia or something like that, and we can play it before the songs. So yeah, I don't even know where to even start though, Jeff. So
I know.
Yeah, you know, we just did something like that.
Oh,
Not here, but hi, I'm Levi Ruffin. Hi, I'm Nate Hughes. I'm Lannis Hughes with the Stone City Band, and you're listening to Wada Hoo Hada.
That's it.
that's it. That's all you gotta do.
That's
That's basically, yeah. Nice promo.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. If there's any way we can get, one, that'd be fantastic. And then we'll cut you guys loose so you can get on with your life.
Okay.
Funkatopia fans would love to hear that every so
Oh,
often.
absolutely. Levi, you want to go first? It's Funkatopia.
Okay, here. Hi, I'm Levi Ruffin, and you're listening to Funkatopia. I know I blew the name. Do it again. Take 9. Hi, I'm Levi Ruffin of the Stone City Band, and you're listening to Funkatopia. Who else is here with us?
We got Tom. Go ahead, Tom.
Hey, this is Tom McDermott from Stone City Band. You're listening to Funkatopia.
And the Hughes brothers can do it together. That'd be fantastic.
Hi, my name is Lannis Hughes of Stone City Band, and you're listening to Funkatopia.
Hi, I'm Nate Hughes from Stone City Band, and you're listening to Funkatopia.
Man,
Hello.
come on now. You guys are, man, love it. So these are legends. These are like friggin' legends. Where is the best place that people can go to kind of see your next concert dates and just see what you were up to? You guys are really active on both Facebook and Instagram and all that. But where is the best place for people to go and see where you guys are playing next?
Gladys, go ahead.
Both on Facebook, also in Instagram, we advertise on both of them. You can find out the exact dates, everything. We constantly put them up.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, it is, I'll just make sure, I just want to make sure that you guys have the right address on Facebook. It's facebook.com/badboysofFunk is what the address is. So it's facebook.com/badboysofFunk. You got to check it out. When you guys come down here to Georgia, we will be there. We will make sure that we get out there. There you go. Thank you for the scroll. That's perfect.
Sweet.
Awesome.
All right.
And we'll make
Good
sure
looking, y'all.
and we'll make sure that we promote you guys every single possibility. It's so fantastic that you guys are still out there killing it, still out there just slamming. And it is an honor to have you guys. You are all legends in everybody's eyes. And thank you for dispelling all those vicious, ridiculous rumors.
That was
We
fun.
appreciate the love.
I'm literally going to go onto all the sites that I found that stuff, and I'll be lies.
Get that out of here.
Let him have it.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up.
Okay, now.
Levi Ruffin, Tom McDermott, Nate Hughes, and Lanich, man. I'm telling you, it's so amazing to have you guys in here. Stone City Band in the house. Head to facebook.com/badboysofFunk. Find out when they're playing in your town and get to the show. You got to support these guys so they can keep it up. Brothers, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to cut you guys loose. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
All right,
Okay.
Mr. Chris.
In a minute.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Peace.
Let me get all you guys loose. Oh man, what an amazing show. Holy cow.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, you know what was difficult for me really, because I had so many different things, but when 70% of the things that I was trying to find out the story behind were to find out it was inaccurate ridiculousness. That was on legit sites. I mean, some of that stuff was on like Wikipedia pages.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm going to go to Wikipedia and I'm going to be like, okay, bullshit.
Right. I'm calling BS on that.
We need it, because I think the thing that upsets me the most really is that, you know, these guys are again, they're musical legends, and they, you know, to have all this ridiculousness out there about them and about Rick in general, and the relationship that Rick and Prince had was not what everybody made it out to be.
Right.
Was not that's insane. That doesn't make any sense to me. That I guess drama sells, right? I mean, it's
That's
real.
what it's all about. It's really all about saying what you can to get people to read your story. So if you can pull out some drama, everyone's going to read your story, and then those people will take that as that must be true, and here we go. And I just appreciate the fact that they came on this show and we dispelled a lot of those rumors. Breaking news here, dispel a rumor there, and just knock it all out. So anybody who has a question, they can listen. They can come and listen to this show, and they're all over the world, so they'll hear it.
I was borderline embarrassed that I only had 3 vinyls that are here because I was going through my collection, and apparently when during moves and whatnot, that I was breaking out the vinyl because I wanted to showcase some of the stuff that I had from back in the day. Cold Blooded, which I was great that I had. Was very, very happy that I had Garden of Love. We talked about Garden of Love. It's kind of looking weird because I got the green screen action. It's blurring out all the green, which is kind of cool. And of course the legendary busting out of L7.
I had my bass. I was ready to break out and actually play some of the songs for her.
I was going to sing the wrong lyrics to Super Freak. So
have a jam session, man.
I was going to sing the lyrics of Intertwining Candles.
That's right. Pull out a cassette or two.
Yes. So, man, I can't believe it, because most of those stories have been in circulation for so long that people have just accepted it as fact. And it was just not, I mean, that's incredible to me that so much of that stuff was just garbage nonsense. And I don't think that anybody, I love the fact that we, had an opportunity to kind of just be able to, have it.
It's been around so long, it's just automatic. You don't even think that it's not true. You just go, yeah, okay, accepted. So yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I literally am going to go on to. I'm gonna locate all the places that I found those bullshit stories, and I'm going to go and I'm going to set the record straight on all of them and say, no, watch this interview. Levi Ruffin specifically said that didn't happen. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. That didn't happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Mr. Christopher is going to champion for the Stone City Band. That's it.
I have no choice.
You have no choice.
I just can't, because it's not just lies about Rick James.
Yeah,
it's lies about Prince also. And so there's these things that are these stories that are being told that are putting both of them in a bad light. It puts Rick James in a bully light, and it puts Prince in a, oh, don't hurt me light. It's like this stuff just didn't happen. And that's what's kind of, the whole thing with Rick stealing his keyboard.
That's amazing.
And I even watched a video. There's a video clip. If you go to Google and you type Rick James and Prince, there is a video on Instagram of some guy that even went deep enough to take the song. Was it Super Freak? I think it was Super Freak. And he broke it apart into tracks, and then he played and he found some way to separate the tracks. I can do it, and he was able to identify the keyboard parts. And he goes, "That's Prince's custom." Blah 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 blah. Rick James stole it. And I was just like,
well,
dude, you just went overboard to tell a lie.
Right. You can break down anything you want and make
you are uninformed
what you want them to hear. So that's automatic.
That's exactly right, Adrian. That is a perfect point. Much like the stories of Prince and Michael Jackson, because there's all those stories about how they were, enemies, and how he was so, that he didn't like Michael, and he was trying to figure out ways to it's just ridiculous. I'm so glad that Levi was here, because and I still see Levi in the green room. So I want to also, make sure that I let Levi know that our condolences, obviously, for Billy Nunn.
Absolutely.
Because I know that they've been friends for 60 years. and it's a lot. And I was talking with Kenny earlier about it, and I was thinking, all these great artists that, I mean, not just Billy's the most recent, but you think of all the people that have left us with Prince and Rick James and Tina Marie and Glenn Goins and gosh, just the list just goes just on and on of these people. But I guess one of the tough things that happens is that when you get to a certain age, it's just like, man, just Lord, just don't take them right now, not yet.
Right.
Oh, I'm not ready for that just yet, because some people are such an integral part of your life that it's tough when you lose somebody, especially when you've known them for decades of your life or like the majority of your life. It just doesn't, it's tough. I mean, it's a nature of life, but
and no matter how much we think we're prepared, because we know some things are inevitable, even in that situation, you're just never prepared. It just doesn't matter. So yeah, my heart goes out to that.
I mean, the blessing, the blessing with that, I mean, obviously, even with the case of with Billy, for those who don't know who Billy Nutt is, I mean, he was a very integral part of a lot of the recording, and he was a great keyboardist and just a really, really good dude. And the only thing that's the only, I don't want to get emotional about it, but it's just when once they transition, it's just it's nice to know that they're in such a better place, and it's just but it doesn't make it hurt any less. You know what I'm saying? It's just tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
So so thank you, Levi, for bringing it up and reminding everybody, and for those that didn't know that we lost Billy Nunn. But on the same note, thank you for also being brave enough to bring it up, because I know it was tough for you to bring up, and
yeah.
But Stone City Band, man,
I am so excited. That's we've had we've had many brilliant and great artists, and every time this happens, there's certain people that just have me like, and I'm just going to be bouncing for weeks, just because, and this is a part of my childhood. This isn't just somebody who came along and, oh, they're great, I love it. This is childhood, bass, band, horns, the whole nine. And that helped shape me as a musician. There were many songs that I used to practice and train and work out and, woodshed. So this guy's, I love it.
And I said the same thing, with Rick, as one of the things I appreciated about Rick and the band is that, they stayed true to their sound. I mean, from beginning to end, he never really deviated from, like, this is my sound. This is what I'm doing. And that's honestly one of the things that Prince could not say. I mean, you guys know I'm a hardcore Prince fan, but that's one thing that Prince could not, he just did so much.
Yeah.
He just, no two songs were the same. Right. He was always trying something different and getting a different sound, but Rick stayed true to a really specific sound, and that was his sound. Yeah. And that's the reason why he's the legend, and the Stone City Band is the legends that they are, is because they're just one of these iconic bands that just nobody did it like them,
Yeah. Best part about it is they're still doing their thing, and they're going back on the road. They're still touring. They're still playing. They're still rocking it out. And I just think, we just sat here.
Why am I looking at the back of your head right now? What is this?
What? No one wants to see the studio?
Right now, what is this going on? Are you like showcasing your studio or something?
I'm showcasing Funkatopia.
Look at my studio. It's so pretty.
It's pretty. I like it.
God.
Yeah. There's been a lot. So I love the fact that they're still doing their thing we still get to enjoy them. So
Donna Brown, tomorrow is her birthday. All right, happy birthday there, Donna. All right,
awesome.
okay.
I want to know if you're doing anything. Got any plans?
Man, it's just it probably does. It's probably going to Olive Garden getting that free meal. Man.
Hey, I thought of something. You mentioned when we were talking about rumors, you mentioned Michael and Prince also, as one of those things. And it made me think, I just wanted to mention real quick, a buddy of mine, a really amazing director. I've talked about him before. His name is Bobby Huntley. He's got a new film project coming out, and it's actually a Prince Michael Jackson film. It's gonna address a lot of that. He's doing his swing on it, and I know that a lot of the oh boy, here we go. But I'm telling you, Bobby Huntley is a brilliant director, and everything he does is always like wow, So I think that'll be interesting too when he gets going. There, he has to, he likes to share stuff, and he's awesome.
I've seen people that try to actually do do these, Ben Umbright, who you guys probably don't know who he is, but Ben does a lot of Prince DJ parties. I haven't talked to him in probably over a few years. I think the last thing that we did together was you saw me wear, I think a couple shows ago, I wore Rekisto Productions t-shirt. And it and why I did, Ben and I did a show at this club in downtown Atlanta, and we DJ'd Prince stuff. We had this big Prince party. The reason why I'm bringing this up was because Ben was going to do a movie about Prince, and he was going to do a movie about Prince and just kind of going to all of his, haunts in Minneapolis and everything, and was doing this whole thing. And one of the big issues that he had, and you'll see it a lot of times on some of these biographies that you see online, is that he wasn't able to get clearance at all to use any music. Right. And so some of these biographies that you see, they put some Prince sounding kind of music in the background, and it sounds horrible. Just like unta, 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 and with some little keyboards and whatnot, and it just does not sound.
Yeah, that's true. You see that a lot.
And so the point of that being is that I hope, for your friend's sake, that he's able to get some type of clearance, because it's not easy to come by, especially with the two biggest, largest pop stars in the world, Prince and Michael Jackson.
Yep.
You can't. It's impossible to talk about them and not have the music accompanying what's going on.
Absolutely.
And it really affects the show big time when you can't have it.
Agreed. 100%. It really does. Because it makes it's not believable. It takes away from what you're watching.
Well, does he have access?
I believe so. He's legit. So I'm sure he's working and worked some things out. So, but yeah, it'd be interesting conversation to have or see. So, yes.
Fruit at the bottom, Wendy and Lisa. I talked about this. I talked about this on Facebook. Can you believe this album, Fruit at the Bottom, Wendy and Lisa, just celebrated its 35th anniversary?
35 years, man.
35 years when this saw the light of day. I actually went to this tour. Me and Rob Rhythm actually went to the tour. It was at the Cotton Club in downtown Atlanta. And you know what? I don't think I've ever pulled out this insert. Oh, my. I don't think I've ever pulled out this insert.
Wow. Okay.
Little belly action.
I guess you'll never be able to say that again. So
I am. Yeah. I mean, but I went to this tour in I don't think it's supposed to be outside of this sleeve, because it seems like this goes inside. Anyways, yeah, we went to the show and it was fantastic. It was fantastic, by the way. And I think I'm going to share something very, very similar with the Patreon supporters, which I still have not time for this month. but I promise I'm going to do it tomorrow. I think I said that last
Killing
night.
us.
I'm actually going to do it. I'm actually going to do it, and I'm actually going to share a show.
I
from
love
Wendy.
Fruit at the Bottom, man. I remember a buddy of mine is Terry Orlando. He's a big Prince fan, and he's got a pretty strong group of people. We used to have jam sessions, and he was my drummer for our band. And I remember the first time he came over one of our jam sessions. Fruit at the Bottom had just come out, and I already had it in my to play, and he wasn't ready. Ready. And I started playing "Are You My Baby."
That bass line, that was
He wasn't ready for it. He didn't know I knew it, and I started playing it, and we jammed for hours. So
again, ridiculous. That whole, that is an amazing. It's such a fantastic album. Fruit at the Bottom. It's a really, really good album.
it's one of the
and
coolest bass line riffs out there. Still, I think it's just beautiful.
Well, because it seems like
simple, but it's not simple because it's perfectly in there for that song. It's like, wow.
But it's also the strikes on the bass in that song. It's so open string. It's bang, because you have to let it ring.
Yeah.
Bang, bang, you just have to let that note ring. Those notes ring. And
it's beautiful.
It's a great. Anyways, 35 years of Wendy and Lisa's Fruit at the Bottom. I'm gonna get them on the show. I swear to God, I'm just gonna have them. I actually got in front of them when I the Revolution show in Atlanta. I got an opportunity to hang with the whole band, and I was talking with Wendy, and I was like, I'm really watching this show. I was like, oh, cool, reach out. I was like, okay, and I did that like 100 times. But
keep reaching.
I'm going to keep on trying because I would love to have Wendy and Lisa on the show. I would love to have Jill Jones on the show because Jill actually has a brand new album that's coming out of unreleased material from the 80s called the London Sessions, and that's coming too in April. And I am just there's already a couple singles from that, and I know she's got to be trying to do some promo here soon for it. So I need to get her on the show. I need to get her on the show to talk about it. I just have to. This
was an awesome evening, man. This was a great night and an awesome show. Those guys, Stone City Band. There it is.
Man, come on. That was a great show. And the thing I like most about it was we dispelled like about a half a dozen stories that were not true.
Yes.
Half a dozen stories that you guys have heard about Rick James and Prince that were not true.
Gone. Out. Don't ever bring them up again. Slap.
I don't know how to feel about this. Joni, wrong one. Joni Tales says, I reached out to Jill. She's aware that she's invited.
She's aware.
I don't know how to feel about that. She's aware that you've opened your fat mouth and have invited her on the show.
She's like, I know. So
she's aware of your inferior product.
She's aware. That's hilarious. Well, it's good that she's aware.
Yeah. She knows who you are. Let's tone it down a little, fella.
Calm down, son. Calm down. Someday.
She knows.
Stop talking about it.
All right. Well, that's the only way you can do it. It's just like I'm putting it out there.
She'll do it eventually. She will.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm hoping. But next week, let's talk about next week because it's a very, very special date for those who don't know. Oh, did you miss that? Next week is yeah, in case you missed that, next week is it's March 19th, and we have part 2 of an interview to do. Right? Next week, the one and only Michael Bland and Sonny T are back on the show next week, next Tuesday.
Yes.
In case you forgot. And they wanted to come back on. I think they had some other things they wanted to talk about. They wanted to talk about the show a little bit more that's happening in Minneapolis. on 420. They're going to talk about that some more, and we still have like a bunch of questions that we didn't get to the first time around. So yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
For you reggae fans, yesterday was 311. So yeah, sorry about that. I didn't even call that out. I missed it. I'm sorry. That was missed. But we live in the Prince world, so.
Well, you guys remember the last time that Sonny T and Michael Bland were here? It was an amazing show. It was awesome and full of energy and full of great stories. So part 2 is going to be just as fun for sure.
So yeah, it's going to be another awesome show. We got part 2 of Michael Bland and Sonny T are going to be on next week on Tuesday. And not only that, but we have not one, but 2 other guests that are also coming on. Well, technically 3 other that are coming on. And so it won't just be Michael Bland and Sonny T. There will also be some other folks that will be coming on as well after Michael Bland and Sonny T, not part of MPG. But just so you know, there'll be a couple other guests that are going to be popping in later in the show as well. So you got Michael Bland, Sonny T, and 2 surprise guests, 3 technically.
And if you want to know who they are, be here.
Yes.
That's it. Just
Yeah.
be here. You don't want to miss it.
So tonight, so be here next week. Michael Bland, Sonny T, part 2, and a couple of special guests as well, because it's a special day. And you just have to, because it's important. I did not put the show on the app tonight, and I let everybody know that on the Facebook page, because we're just having some technical issues. It's not we had a few weeks ago, we had the issue where I was way low and everybody else was like higher up. So every single time I spoke, I was way down. And then last week was the worst of it, because I wasn't there at all. The only person that was talking, that people could hear talking, was Jeff, and anybody else that was not coming direct mic from the system. So and people want, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, which makes it horrendous, because it sounds like I'm talking to myself and not even finishing a sentence.
Well, it's random. Yeah, it's just like a bunch of silence,
and then I go, haha, because I had my cassettes.
People were like, "This app is broken." But yeah, so what we're going to be doing is that after the show is over, I will be uploading it the very next day to the system, which will put it out on iHeartRadio, which will put it out on Odyssey, the AUDACY that all the radio stations are using. It will also put it out on Apple Music. It puts it out on Spotify. And on top of that, it puts it out on the app as well. Right now, the app is fantastic. You open up the app and all the shows that we've done are right there. So if you missed the first Michael Bland and Sonny T show, you can go on to the app and you can see it right there. It's you can listen to it and catch up. And Michael just sent me an update for the app in test flight. And
cool.
And well, what's really cool about this, and I'm gonna pull it up and see.
Is this the Android side or the iPhone side?
It will be both.
Well, I mean, the test that he sent you.
The test that he sent me is in test flight, which is only I can download this, and then if I approve it and everything's cool, then we push it out to everybody. So it was just an adjustment, but this is the Uptown Radio app, and I want you to look at something right underneath the play button. See if you can see that.
Request a song.
It says request a song.
Nice.
So you'll be able to click on that and you'll put in the name. Oh my God. This is ridiculous. So you click on it and it says request a song. And as you click it, it has a list of all the songs that are in there.
Oh, so as you type,
and you can actually, as you type it, so you don't have to worry about mistyping or whatever, you can actually scroll through and go, yes, that one, and click on it
Wow.
Come on. What the fudge? Are you serious right now?
Nice.
However, we did want to make, this functionality was only going to be really for Patreon supporters. Just because we wanted to kind of build a little bit more value for Patreon supporters. So it may push you in a scenario where you have to put in your email or whatever, and then you'll be able to get that functionality because it will match up with who's on the Patreon list. We're just going to just have to see how all that works. But yes, I would join Patreon just for that functionality because it's very, very cool.
Right.
But if you want to support us, obviously you can do one-time donations to Venmo at Funkatopia, FUNKATOPIA, or on Cash App at $Funkatopia, again, FUNKATOPIA. Or you can also do Patreon. Patreon is the best because it's monthly. You can join for like $5 a month. It's really cool. And you get all kinds of really, really cool files. You get, I try to do things for as much as I possibly can. Some of the higher levels of donators get gifts in the mail and stuff. So I'm trying to do as much as I possibly can for folks with physical gifts, because I know a lot of people don't even do physical gifts.
Right.
They're just like, thank you for supporting us. That's it. I want to kind of just do a little bit more if I possibly can. Normally I do it around Christmas time. But the files that you get every single month, the access to the cool sound stuff and all that stuff is really awesome. And on top of that, you might have the capability to actually be able to, oh my God.
And anyone who's sitting back on what files? Well, if you become a Patreon supporter, you'll understand what files. That's all to it.
I'm actually submitting the song right now.
Testing.
Oh my God. It actually says, look at this. It's as I put in 1 + 1 + 1 is 3. And it actually says on here, it tells you what you requested. It says Uptown waiting for your request, Uptown Radio waiting for your request. It says approximate playtime between 10:39 and 11:09 p.m. So it will even tell you exactly when it's going to play on the app. Stop right now.
Put it on the calendar, schedule it.
What is happening, Michael?
If you're in the office, I'm taking a bathroom break at 10:20.
Oh my God, it's like, I want to pee, but I don't want to miss the song. This is giving you a window about when it's going to play the song. Oh my God. If you want to support us on Patreon, it's patreon.com/Funkatopia. That's patreon.com/Funkatopia. I always say, because a patron supporter, someone who's a patron, it's patronage, is PATRON. And I've always wondered why they put that E in there. And then we had talked about this before. It's probably because the vodka company, Patron, probably has that. Patron.com probably has that URL.
Right.
So it's patreon.com/Funkatopia. And you can join. You can have, if you join now, you get access to like a bunch of crazy files right now as it is. And then there's going to be more coming as well. And you might actually have access to this. This is so silly though, man. I didn't realize he did all this. This is just nuts.
That's awesome. That's
but
awesome.
you can't like request like tons of songs like back to back to back to back to back. Apparently you can only, I think he said you can only request like one song every, I don't know what it is. There's a time limit on there. So you just load it up with like,
yeah, you kind of have to do that anyways, because no, not everybody, but everybody. People are people, so it's cool.
Or play like the hour version of junk music, and then 30 minutes in, record it again, and then next thing you know, you got a whole day's worth of junk music. That's
right
there. It's like, come on, dude, really?
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Well, all right.
I'm just gonna take that out of the mix. Is what I'm gonna have to do. So, anyways, thank you guys for joining us tonight. If you missed any of the show, you can tune in, immediately pretty much for the video on facebook.com/Funkatopia or twitter.com/Funkatopia or youtube.com/Funkatopia. You can watch the interview in its entirety as soon as we're done. As soon as we click, it will be there and you'll be able to watch it. If you want to listen to it for your drive tomorrow, it will be up there tomorrow via the app. and all of your favorite streaming stations, which include iHeartRadio and Spotify and Odyssey and all those places, Apple Music and whatnot. It will all be there, and you'll be able to check it out. And of course, again, the app. We will see you tomorrow. I mean, not tomorrow. I won't see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll post stuff tomorrow. We'll see you next week on, 319. We'll see you on 319 with part 2 of Michael Bland and Sonny T. And on top of that, we're going to have a couple special guests that are going to drop in after Michael Bland and Sonny T. I've got some special announcements to make, so they are dropping in. And yes, you know who they are. Yes, they're not just random people that you don't know. You know who these people are.
That's right.
So you'll want to come in. It's not Jill Jones or Wendy and Lisa, though.
Not yet, but it'll happen.
They're still fantastic guests.
That's right.
But
keep putting it out into the universe until it happens.
Putting it out there. Jill Jones. Wendy and Lisa. Jill Jones.
We need to work some magic in there. Do I have any good magic stuff here? Let's see.
It's just, I mean, yeah. As long as Jill Jones knows that she's been invited, that's really all that.
Hey, she knows. Calm down.
She's aware that she's invited.
Aware.
She's aware. She's aware. Okay? She's aware. All right. Good night, everybody. I hope you had a fantastic time. It was a great show tonight. It was so exciting to actually have them on the show, dispelling all these myths. And man, that's a lot to dispel.
Yeah.
What a show, man. Oh my God. Not only do we break news information, but we also break information.
It is all broken now.
We don't just break out information, we break information also. That's pretty amazing. All right, everybody. Hope you guys had a fantastic time. You've been listening to Funkatopia Live. Be sure to head to funkatopia.com/shop and get your WTF mugs. Welcome to Funkatopia. And also, get your Funkatopia gear too, because all the clothing, all the hats and everything, they're not just like little iron-on stuff. Everything is embroidered, just ridiculous. We got little mini stickers coming too, which is going to be awesome too. We got these little lots of stuff that's coming out of the pike. Anyways, good night. I'm your host, Mr. Christopher. This is Jeff Page. Oh. We'll see you next week on 319. We'll see you guys later. Have a good time. Good night, everyone. Adios, amigos y amigas. See you then.